Okay, I'm going to try this again. I did the whole part 3, but then it says it's too large even though it's 9 minutes and something. So I'm just going to try to redo it and try to remember the time. So, okay, so it's 10:16, so that means 10:26 would be 10, so 26, 25, 24. All right, so 10:24 I got to go. So you guys remind me of that. All right, so anyway, I'm going to try to keep it down. I forgot to tell you the third part of me escaping. Okay, I get in the plane, I get to Chicago, I have the thing with my husband and Osa. I finally get in that plane. I think, whew, I mean, you can imagine how I feel. It's like, whoa. I mean, talk about an escape, right? This is just incredible. So I think, okay, no problem. I'm fine now. I'm going to Tampa, Florida. I know that the Clearwater people that pick up people in Tampa only go till midnight. I've been going there for 7 years, so I know I'm cool on that. It's 1:45 in the morning when I land. They're done at midnight and they go to bed. Good. Wrong. I go walking down the walkway, and here's this mob of people, Osa and one of my friends, the police, and Stacy, Bob, and Jesse. Stacy, Bob, and Jesse had called the police saying she's escaping out of a cult. We need your help. So they're like, everyone, she has to decide. We can't do anything until she decides. So my girlfriend's like, talk to me, talk to me. So I'm like, okay, what? I'll give you 2 minutes. And she says, okay, what happened? I mean, why would you leave Scientology? What is going on? And I said, you know, it's really too much to tell you in 2 minutes, honestly. You know, you got to go on the net, start reading, look around, you'll understand. And she said, and you have to know, I left because of David Miscavige, ratting out the OT7s and the stopping of free speech, which I knew was run by Miscavige. So I really didn't like the guy. So she says, well, let me just tell you this. I'm best friends with David Miscavige. So if you want to get him a message, I can get him one tonight. And I look at the cops who had said she has to pick, and I went, I picked them. And so they do their big, everybody stand back, and I go with Stacy, Bob, and Jesse, and they literally escort us out of the airport. So now, in Tampa, it goes like this. There's the Tampa airport, and then all the way across a causeway is Clearwater, Florida, where Stacy and Bob were with the Lisa McPherson Trust. And it's a causeway in between. So they stay the night in a hotel on the causeway. I don't know the next day Ursula Caberta from Germany is coming in. And Stacy knew that would be too much for me. It was already way a lot to meet Stacy, Bob, and Jesse, who for years I've been heard these big badass P's and all this stuff, and they turn out to be these great people. But it's still a lot to get over all of this, and she knew I was going through a lot. So they just figured, we'll stay in the hotel, we won't tell Tory, we'll pick up Ursula, and you know, so you ran these two things. It was amazing, really, it really was. And so, okay, so there you go. So we're in the hotel, and we've got 2 different rooms. They fly in Harold, probably Osa. He shows up, and we're up all night long talking about all the fun, what I got into Scientology, how it was like. And Bob is like, wow, this is such a different picture than now. It's so Nazi Germany now, right? And I said, yeah, I know. It was a lot different time. So basically, we have a great time. It's 7 in the morning. I say, you know what? I got to go to sleep. So I go through the room into my room, and I fall asleep. Harold comes to Bob's door and knocks on the door. Bob opens up the door, and he says, I'm here to see Tory. And he says, she's sleeping. He doesn't say she's sleeping in the other room. He just says she's sleeping, which is probably where they got that Tory had an affair with the millionaire, because he was a millionaire, right? But I wasn't with Bob. Stacy was with Bob. And the other funny thing that happened is the next day, Bunker arrives, and I'm in a flannel nightgown, right? You know, and I felt like I was nude anyway when I left on the internet, because I'm like, Magoo left the building, and I tell him my whole story, so I'm like, whatever. So I'm sitting in there in my flannel nightgown. It's not like some silky, skinny thing, you know, it's a flannel nightgown. So I'm sitting in there, it's no big deal, I'm talking to all of them. And Harold knocks on the door again, opens the door. There I am with Bunker in this nightgown and Bob and Stacy, and he's had a heart attack ever since. He's always talking about Tory was in her nightgown with Mark Bunker. It's very funny. Anyway, they go on and on. They flew in my auditor. My auditor, yes, he came. Found out that they have a bunch of lies of what they say I said to him, which I didn't, about my husband. I never said that. It's a flat-out lie, Yachty, and you know it. And shame on you for even saying that kind of stuff. That is pathetic. Okay, so I'm not even going to get into that because it's a flat-out lie. Okay, so what happened was I told Yachty what happened on OT7. He goes, whoa, let me go look in your folders. I've talked to auditors since out, and they said, bullshit, Flag's not going to give him access to your folders. But he came back and said, wow, whatever happened to you, it's the worst thing that ever happened to anybody case-wise on the planet, and we're going to fix it. And I said, Bill, I'm going to tell you something. You could give me $1 million fucking dollars, and no, I'm not going to pick up those cans. It's over, right? So Yardie leaves. This thing goes on. Crispin continued to put her husband off, finally returning home months later, which it wasn't months, when the gravy train derailed and she was maxed out on the credit cards, which is a total lie. I mean, they just go on and on and on. They say, and this letter they have from that he never sent me, this supposed letter, right? It says that she called my mother stepfather and brother. Harold doesn't have a stepfather. He has a mother and a father and a brother. So that's a flat-out lie. And I wouldn't call his mother because she was OT8, got in it in 1950. I'm not going to call her and say I left. And I wouldn't call the brother because he hated Scientology, and I barely know him. So anyway, it just goes on and on about more lies about him. And I don't have much more time, but Harold, I want to tell you, this is really and truly pathetic. I don't know if you even know that they're running this shit. I doubt if you do. But if you do, you and your wife, you can tell your little wife, shame on you. I don't care if you like me or not. It's really pathetic for you to be using me to try to get onto your OT levels, which I'm sure this is all about. It's like they have to do something to, create do a bad thing to the enemy. So, I mean, Harold, I'm sorry. I really am. I really am sorry for you. I am. I wish you well. I'm very sorry that this all has happened to you. I know you were born into Scientology, so you can't even think with it. I'm sure you never even were really on board in Scientology like I was. I was like a true believer. You were sort of like, I'm here because my parents are paying for it. It wasn't really your thing. So I know your wife must be really this hardcore chick, because you wouldn't still be there. I know you. You'd be in Wisconsin with your college friends. That's what you always wanted to do. So I hope you go to college. I really do. He went to college and graduated, but he always used to talk about his wonderful times were when he was in Wisconsin. I hope you go back there. I really do. You don't need to stay with Scientology. You don't. And this stuff is pathetic. Okay? So I'm doing great. I'm having fun. It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to go around and talk to all my neighbors. I suggest all of you do, because they might be in your neighborhood next. And have a safe Memorial Day weekend and have a lot of fun. And we will be in touch soon. Bye-bye.